On Facebook, YouTube, how we doing? Hope everyone's having a good night. I'm just gonna get the gram going here, and then we'll get after it. The world is trash. Everything's garbage. Nothing new there. No surprises. All right, let's get it. Thanks for being here. What's going on, everybody? What's the good word, everybody? The world is a dumpster fire. It is not ceasing to amaze me how hot, garbagey things are right now. It is just remarkable. Thanks for being here. I'm not going to take too long on this particular broadcast. I was sitting here trying to come up with a video about what I could say about what's going on right now, and I was trying to condense it into a singular thought, and I was struggling with it. And I'm just like, I feel like the only way to do this is to just do it in long form, do it live. I'm going to do it live. And that's really the only way that I can make sense of it. What I think is happening right now is the most remarkable, sad, slippery slope into something that we may never be able to escape. And as I titled this video, as I'm going to title it on the gram, but as it's already titled on Instagram and YouTube, the silence is deafening. There is a deafening silence about what is happening right now, and it is incredibly sad. And I don't want to make this a complete downer situation. I don't want to make the whole video just about being down and the world is garbage, even though obviously it is. But I just wanted to illustrate how obvious it is, how insane what is going on right now is, and how the fact that the vast majority of people are so spineless and weak and sad and motivated by only money is disturbing and disgusting. I don't know if anybody saw the video from our friends at the project, which will not be named. You know exactly who I'm talking about. The pay-per-view, the PV, the project, as it were, as it was, whatever. Isn't it a sad world that we can't even say things? The world is trash. Everything's garbage. The world is fine. No big deal. Nothing to see here. Let's all just be quiet about it and go back to work. No big deal. It's totally fine. Put a diaper on your kid. It's fine. They dropped this video tonight where people from the Pen 15 and Pen 15 Corporation, the large farmer corporation that's putting out one of these particular juices that they want you to inject into your freaking body. And you got a guy that's been working there for 13 years that will say on a hidden camera to a person that he doesn't know is a journalist that how he feels about it, that he doesn't think kids should take it. And it's just a complete savage, spineless, amoeba, blob, un-American loser of a person that they would sit there and make money and take home their paycheck and then sit in a private dinner with another person and just be like, yeah, you know, it's just about money, and then just go back to work for 13 years and work at this establishment and collect a paycheck. You're a spineless loser, and you have absolutely zero respect for me. You should be ashamed of yourself, you loser. That guy's a loser. The other guy's a loser. And any person that's sitting out there cognizant and aware of what's going on right now as the country that's given you the only free society, the only truly free and independent society in the history of the world, that you could live inside that structure and just go to work and collect a paycheck, not caring about the demise of the very thing that gave you even the freedom to exist in the world in this way. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're spineless and you're a loser. These people are disgusting. And the thing is like, I once heard my friend Mike Cunahan at No Donuts here on Instagram. He said one time in an Instagram post that being a cop showed him how bad and evil people can be in the world with some of the things that you see. And I think what's such a tragedy is that People are doing things that are completely spineless, completely disgraceful, that in the end, I do believe that karma, the universe, whatever you want to call it, they'll have to answer for all of the misdeeds that these people are doing in exchange for invisible cash and currency right now in this existence. And I just hope that I hope these people realize the severity of how horrible they are and what they're doing to people around the entire world is disgusting. And what I find so remarkable about this specific moment in time is how people are being reminiscent of the bravery that we've seen in centuries past around the world, and it's happening in real time. And people are like, yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, Joe's basically not living. Yeah, that's pretty bad, but I need to go and work. I need to go and collect my paycheck. You see this with police officers in Australia who should be ashamed of themselves. Just a few minutes ago, I watched a video on Ian Smith's Instagram page where he showed a pastor that had kept his church open that is prepared to serve 6 years in prison in Canada for keeping his church open. This man that kept open a church is going to do 6 years in prison. Earlier today, Andy Frisella posted an image and a post on his wall of that gentleman that spoke out about what happened overseas in the country with an A, where this person that had been a decorated and highly respected U.S. Marine, a person that was willing to sacrifice his life to protect all of us and our likeness and the future generations of the people that choose to live in this country. And this guy was a highly respected person in the military, in the Marine Corps, one of the highest trained people in the entire world, deserving of all of our respect. And this man is in prison right now for simply asking questions. This guy is in prison. In January, you had people with no criminal record, non-violently, with no weapons, the vast majority of them, go to Washington and peacefully assemble, as they had seen people not do all year long. They had constantly watched people smashing, looting stores, burning private property, burning car dealerships, destroying vehicles, destroying buildings, robbing, looting, attacking police officers, attacking others, assaulting people, causing mayhem in streets, throwing bricks, throwing balloons full of urine at police officers, starting fires, and then being celebrated for it on TV. And we watched that all year long. Those people were bailed out. Even the vice president of the United States, Krusty, supported and endorsed a fund that helped get these people and bail these people out of jail. And very few of them, if any of them at all, served any time or had any repercussion for their actions. Yet, people peacefully marched to a government building in the United States of America, and those people are in solitary confinement, unlawfully, basically, for first-time offenders in our nation's capital, in prison right now. So you have a Marine in jail. You have first-time offenders in solitary confinement, which is essentially torture. You're torturing these people. Then you have these spineless losers at the Pen 15 and Pen 15 Corporation just being like, yeah, whatever. I'm a piece of garbage, as they enjoy their meal in the freest nation the world has ever known. Completely, with complete disregard about their fellow human beings, that they would be like, yeah, it's about numbers. It's about politics. You're disgusting. You should be ashamed of yourself. These people are spineless. And then after all of that, The dehydrated owl 2.0, the new governor of the state of New York, is going to go and fire what will probably amount to thousands of highly qualified nurses, doctors, and medical professionals in the state of New York will be fired and are already being fired tonight at midnight for nothing. For nothing. And they're going to bring military troops that have already complied and followed the artificial rules in to take their jobs. Can you imagine the amount of error, the amount of pure muscle memory and experience that the people that worked in those hospitals yesterday versus the people that have not been in there now that are going to come in tomorrow? Can you imagine the mistakes? Can you imagine the decrease in the level of care? Can you imagine the suffering, the needless suffering that will happen as a result of replacing these highly qualified medical staff that are ingrained and part of this community, that have been working probably in those hospitals maybe years, decades, maybe a lifetime, that for whatever reason, be it religious, be it personal, be it their understanding of their own body and their measurement of the risks, make a decision about their own life. And while you, out of one side of your mouth, say that the hospitals are overrun and there's not enough beds and we can't do this and people are this and you can't deliver babies and we're not doing elective surgeries and of course you're not doing scans. So you got all these people, all these qualified nurses that 6 months ago were heroes. Bill de Blasio, this lanky garbage merchant in New York City, doing parades down the street. These are our heroes, our healthcare heroes, the frontline heroes. These people were the bravest among us that went for a paycheck and risked their life every single day for a year and a half with no juice, with no promise of what was going to happen, with no understanding to save and protect all of us. And these people are going to parade around like they really care about these people. They have so much respect. These are our heroes, our healthcare heroes. And these disgusting, spineless people are going to go and then throw those people in the trash and fire all those nurses and all those qualified medical staff for nothing so that people can suffer. These people hate us. These people want us to die. They want us to die and be miserable. They want people to suffer. And most people couldn't care less. It's disgusting. If you've ever bought a car in your life, this is what I think is the most sensible comparison. I've been thinking about this all day, how I'm going to word this. And I thought about when you buy a car, more than double the amount of new cars more than double the amount of new cars are purchased every year. Used cars, double the amount of new cars. There's about 40 something million new cars or used cars that are purchased every year. There's about 17 million new cars, which means that the vast majority of people purchase a used car. When you have a car and your car is reliable and you're not in the market to buy a car, you don't see car commercials on TV. Has anybody ever noticed that? When I have a car and I like my car, I don't notice car commercials. A car commercial comes on, I pull my phone out, I pay attention to something else. Yet so many commercials are car commercials and we don't even realize it. Because when something doesn't pertain to you, like you already have a car, you don't even see it. Your mind mentally tunes it out. That doesn't apply to me. I don't need a car. It doesn't matter to me. Yet, when you need a car, if you've ever had a time where you're looking for a car, used car or new car, you notice that every other commercial is a car commercial. You're like, that's so crazy. How did I never notice these car commercials? That's so weird. I never noticed that. When you're in the market for a car, you notice how many car commercials, even if you're not going to buy a new one. You're like, wow, those new Acuras are really nice. Let me look at the used Acura. Let me look at that for a lease. Wow, you look at what's in the marketplace because it is relevant to you. These people out there that have gotten the juice have tuned out every single thing that pertains to anything not regarding what things they're allowed to do as it relates to the juice. It's just like when you go to buy a car. When you need a car, you notice every commercial. You tune in, you notice every part of it. But when you're not, it's not even there. And all these people are subconsciously complacent to all of the horrible injustices that are happening right in front of their face because they don't even see it. Their mind is tuned out. But all they do see is every once in a while, they see some sensationalist headline where it's like, this piece of garbage drank some horse goo and such and such and such. And they don't even care. They don't even look into it. And to a degree, it's like, it's hard to even blame all these people sometimes. But the thing that I find so remarkable, aside from all these people that are tuned out, is the people that are tuned in, that already see how bad this is, that already are witnessing how horrible what is happening to all these people around them. Because the people that didn't get the juice, they are tuned into every single thing as it relates to their job, as it relates to their future, as it relates to their children. They're extremely tuned in. What blows my mind is that those people, the ones that are hyper tuned in, that still don't say anything and or act upon it, is mind-blowing to me. And this is not about assigning blame. But what we are witnessing is like a systematic dismantling of every single thing that we hold dear. They have successfully figured out how to remove a group of people from the conversation mentally, subconsciously, get them to demonize everybody on the other side, and then beat into submission all the remaining people that can see the truth into silence out of threats. And the lack of bravery exhibited by your everyday person is tragic. And all of us, including myself, have to be more cognizant of how bad this is getting. And we need to talk to more people about this faster, because we are in a lot of trouble. And as much as I don't want to sit here and doom and gloom it out, those nurses that went to work every single day in the state of New York and risked their life and were celebrated as heroes are all going to be fired tomorrow in 2 hours. They don't have a job. You know how much time you have to put in to be a nurse, to be a doctor? My good friend is a surgeon. Graduated high school in 2005. Went to college, got a bachelor's degree, then went to medical school, finished medical school, did multiple residencies, just received his first actual placement. Full doctors. It has been a doctor for a while, but now his full first job where he can actually start making money. Then he's got to start paying back all of those loans that he accumulated. He's 34 years old. That's 16 years of time that he had to put in. 16 years to start. The amount of empathy and care and just pure heart and soul that you have to even choose to be a nurse is remarkable. The amount of love that you have to have for people to be frustrated, tired, stressed out, full of anxiety, fearful of your own health, stressed out with money and debt, family, and all of that, to go into a medical facility and serve those people with a high degree of care day in and day out forever. Or you could risk your job, your career, your whole livelihood with just a single mistake. The attention to detail that you have to have and the heart that you have to do that job is why there are so few of us that are in the medical field, and why so few of us are nurses. Yet these nurses that stood out front and went to work every day and have been in all of these headlines about all of their stress are being thrown in the trash for nothing. For nothing. And Kathy, whatever her face is, she should be ashamed of herself. These people are disgusting and they don't care about people. These people are sick in the head and they are a disgrace. They are so anti-American and so anti-human. I don't know how these people sleep at night. They should be disgusted with themselves. This is insane. And these people are being tortured, sent to prison, locked up for nothing, and all these people are being fired for nothing. There will be a time in the not too distant future where societies look back on this moment, if it's even allowed to be reported on, and they will wonder how we could have been so spineless at this very moment, how we could have been so low integrity, such weak, subservient people, that we let these psychopaths do this to us and do this to our fellow human beings is disgusting. And these insane, mentally unhinged people are going to freak out about a photo with a horse and a horse rein in it. It's a tragedy. We are witnessing a tragedy in real time. And people are like, yeah, I got to collect this paycheck dough. The silence is deafening. And I just find it so remarkable how, after all the sacrifice that people have gone through to create this place, that people could be so callous to how significant the spirit of America actually is. Because it's one thing to disrespect it. It's one thing to not care about it. It's one thing to turn a blind eye to it and go and collect your paycheck. But it is a wholly different and wholly other thing to actively pursue its demise. To think that these people will vote for these people, will choose these leaders, will clap and applaud to them as they dismantle the very freedoms that they will never get back again. And what? And then you have all these people that know this, that are aware of it, that participate in society and do nothing about it. They're like, yeah, that's crazy. Because it doesn't affect you until it affects you. And by then it's too late for the vast majority of people. And what's happening in Australia, where you have police officers, authority figures beating people in the street and pepper spraying 60-year-old women when they're on the ground, and people are like, yeah, it's just like, you're spineless. And it's happening in Australia. It's certainly happening in Canada. The difference with the United States is we're a little bit more tactical about how we cause people to suffer. The United States has a leg up on the mental manipulation game, where they understand that you can do it in the darkness. You can do it under the guise of heroism. You can do it by convincing somebody that it's just. Instead of just beating someone in the street, you just turn off their ability to be free. You just remove everything while they're not even looking. You get other people to cheer while you steal everything from them. They have successfully figured out how to emotionally manipulate the entire planet. And the last the last bastion of freedom, the last hope for the free world is the United States of America. Yet your average everyday person is just not paying attention, or paying attention and not caring, or feeling like their voice has no significance, or feeling like it's too late, or it's whatever, or what am I going to do? And that's exactly why they got us in the bag. That's exactly why all this stuff is going to happen. So it's like, all right, imagine being a nurse in New York State. You've been there for 20 years. And you go to, and you maybe you already got the clap. Maybe you already got it. You've done your research. You're a literal medical professional. And you're like, dog, I understand how this works. Yet by decree, some politician is going to tell you that you don't have a job anymore, that your career no longer matters. 6 months ago, you were a frontline hero, deserving of a parade. Come to your parade. Come join us. Sit with all of the bureaucrats at your parade. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And then they're like, oh, gagak, you're fired. It's like, okay. Yet tomorrow, Kathy Dehydrated Owl 2.0 and Bill DeGarbaggio and every one of these psycho tyrants will go to work and completely emotionally manipulated and blind NPC drones will be like, good job, Bill. Great job, Kath. While their brothers and sisters next to them, their theys and thems and z's and zers, their specious, whatever you want to call it, fellow human beings of Earth will suffer right next to them. And they're like, I got to get this paycheck, though. I got the juice. So you're going to tell us that everything is overflowed. You're going to tell us that there's this shortage. You're going to pay people to stay home. This is by design. There's no such thing as a coincidence. These people hate us. They hate us, and they want us 6 feet under, my friends. At first, I was like, maybe they just hate us. At first, I was like, maybe they just want that money. Maybe they just don't care. Maybe it's just a bunch of NPC, psycho, spineless losers. But now it's like, as I see them take inch after inch after inch away from us, I'm just like, these people want us to die. They want you to die. They would rather you die. Can you imagine how many people would have been celebrating if Joe Rogan died? Can you imagine how many people would have loved that because of what he said about how he got better? Can you imagine? These are the people that walk the earth with us. These sad people have lost their way. They have lost their understanding of what it means to be a human being. And as they try to virtue signal and shame us like we are the inhuman people, the real altruism is people doing research and caring about everyone else, even when they don't fall in that category. And they have somehow emotionally manipulated people to believe that the other people aren't the ones that care, that we are the ones that don't care who gets clapped. Yet all of the people that make decisions for themselves pose no more risk to anybody else than anybody else. The risk is equivalent. They've said it point blank. This Kathy this Kathy Dehydrated Owl 2.0 said that juiced people deserve to know that other people in their workplace won't get them sick. When they have also said that people who have the juice and people who have not received the juice can pass it exactly the same. People that have gotten the juice are not tested at the same rate that people have not are tested. Why? Because they don't care. Because it's not about safety. It's not about anything. It's purely and simply about willful compliance till you die. They hate us. And the sad part about it is that these people are so blind to their masters that even they, the theoretical leaders, have been emotionally manipulated, and they are just passing the manipulation down the line. Because people like Bill DeGarbaggio does not have the mental fortitude to even understand the severity of how stupid he is, how low IQ this loser is. This guy is not even intelligent enough to understand the severity of his own actions. This guy is a low IQ, smooth brain, spineless loser. And every single other person that willfully endorses this behavior is a loser. You're a loser. There are a million ways to protect the theoretical safety of all of these people, and this ain't it. And firing people when you're going to proclaim that there's some shortage is disturbing. If people aren't out there thinking that that is a pure and simple power tactic, a pure and simple let's enact suffering on as many people as possible, you're clueless, dog. You're not paying attention. It's so obvious. But just like in an emotional relationship, an emotionally manipulative relationship, I watch a lot of crime shows. It's so interesting to me how horrible people can be. It's so terrifying. But you see that people, men and women, primarily women, and I'm not blaming women. It's just an example. People will stay in an emotionally manipulative relationship. Their partner will beat them, threaten them, insult them, imprison them in certain cases, abuse them time and time again. And you just sit there on the outside looking in, watching this, and you're like, how did this girl deal with this? How did they stay with this person? It's because human beings are so fearful of change, so fearful of the unknown, so fearful to lose the comfort of what they have right now, even if it's bad, that they will willfully go and stay until ultimately sometimes they end up losing their life for it. Meanwhile, they got abused all along the way. And as you watch that, you're like, how could they deal with that? That's so amazing. I can't imagine that somebody would do that. It seems so easy. But when you're them, if you were them, I bet you would be like, nobody understands how difficult this is. Yet, those exact same tactics that a captor applies to a person that they have under their grip is what's happening to people at scale. Everybody is trapped in an emotionally manipulative relationship. They're being segmented away from the people they care about. They're listening to nobody but the authority figure. They're being abused. They're watching other people be abused, and they are totally allowing it to happen. When in a lot of cases, they could just simply walk out the front door. But they don't. And you have this unique moment in time where the very future of the citizens of the entire world, forget even the United States for a second, the citizens of Earth, your children's children may never know what freedom was. Isn't that sad? Isn't that tragic? that our ancestors fought, bled, died, were killed, gave their life, sacrificed their 20s, their 30s, their teenage years, their life, their family to die to protect this. And then you have people that are born here that are like, yeah, America's just like evil from the root up. It's like, bro, like I feel bad for you. But it's beyond that now, where it's just like all that sacrifice, it's like one generation away from being lost. And as we all sit idly by while these people just take more and more from us, like our demise is certain if more people don't start doing something about it. And the thing that's so tragic is that the people that are doing things about it, they're really feeling the brunt of it to a mega degree. That guy in the that gentleman in the Marine Corps, prison. People that stood up on the 6th that didn't do anything, didn't commit any crimes, prison. That pastor in Canada, prison. People in Australia, disappear. Casper, jail. Now they want to dishonorably discharge members of the military. Forcing police officers to retire. You got police officers, I think it was in Massachusetts, a whole gang of police officers all retiring early. You got fighter pilots. I believe there were fighter pilots, some of the highest trained, most expensive to train fighter pilots in the United States Air Force, retiring, no choice, retiring. And the cost of how weak it makes the military, how weak it makes our police forces at home, how weak it's going to make the staffs in these hospitals, how much unnecessary, needless suffering and willful vulnerability we're placing on not only the people, but the homeland. We're asking for it. We're asking for it. And how people could not be woken up by how obvious this stuff all is mind-blowing. It's like it's happening right in real time. It's happening right in front of our face. And people are like, yeah, I got to get this paycheck. I got to go to work. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to lose my friends. Yo, newsflash, people. Those are not your friends. There are other jobs. It's like the bravery that some people are exhibiting is far outweighing the bravery of most. And even myself, I feel guilty sometimes thinking like, what more can I do? How else can I do something? And I just find it so puzzling how people will enjoy and bask in the freedoms of what America has given the world. Forget about just America, but the world. And just be like, yeah, it's fine. Let's pledge allegiance to the pride flag. It's like, okay. Let's have communism. Let's have democratic socialism. It's like you're sick in the head. So I just find it very troubling, and I just feel for these nurses and doctors in New York right now, where if I'm mad about it, I can't imagine how mad they are. And like I said, it's like since I started making these videos and leaning into what I believe is the most significant way that I can provide some type of impact or feedback to this process, I'm leaning into my skill set so that I can do something. These videos are being viewed in the tens of millions of times. Nearly 100,000 people following between the four channels. Over 100,000 or close to it. 300 people watching live right now. The impact that 3 people could have, let alone 300, let alone 10 million views, let alone this network and the things that I'm trying to build. It's like, it's still like not enough. It's not enough. It doesn't even, it pales in comparison to what other people have given. Yet it just is so mind-blowing to me that that people are just like, this is fine. It's just tragic. And I think that the needless human suffering that's happening, that people are causing, is so sickening that people could be this savage. Because if you want to be like, okay, the amount of people, I'm just going to do a quick search right now for the amount of people that are dying in the state of New York right now of the clap. And we know that these numbers are fudged just on their own because they told us. Okay. The state of New York has I think it's 25 million people. We'll look it up. The population of the state of New York state, or I think it's 18. Let's see. Population of the state of New York is 19.45 million people. The 7-day average of deaths per day is 41. 41. In April of 2020, the 7-day average was 975 at the peak. No juice, nothing. And all those nurses went to work every day. You're talking 20 times the amount of death. 20 times the amount of death. And they all went to work. And you're going to fire all these people. And it's like, all right. Okay, you can move. All right. Well, let's just do a little search. The average salary for a nurse in the state of New York is anywhere from about $60,000 to $120,000 a year. $65,000 to $100,000 a year. Not rich by any stretch of the imagination. If you're a nurse, which tends to be, average salary is $89,000. Not that much money. $89,000. Yeah, maybe it's a lot to some people. It's not that much money considering what you're dealing with. $89,000. Cost of living in the state of New York is not particularly low. Homes in the state of New York, single-family homes are expensive. Anything anywhere remotely close to the city is expensive. You're paying a lot of money. A nurse is a person that's typically a little older. There's not a lot of 21-year-old nurses. A lot of them are middle-aged people. They have kids. They're about to have kids. They have kids that are in high school, middle school. If you have to move in the middle of a school year, move your whole family, pick your whole family up, it's a lot more difficult. So even if they are able to move, the displacement of all those kids from their schools, the displacement of the father in the household or the partner in the household that may have some other business. I don't know about you guys. I'm from the Northeast. I'm from New England. There's a lot of families that have been in New York and they're New York to the core. These people are from New York. They love New York. They're in New York. They speak New York. They speak New York. They act New York. They love New York. That's in their blood, their family, their grandparents, families nearby. Go to Long Island, go to any place in the state of New York, and you'll see that that is a very, very, very intertwined group of strong families. And of course, there is in many other places, but this is not like a fly-by-night area. This is not like Miami. And I'm not trying to dog on Miami. I'm just saying these are not really comparable in this way. They're essentially trapped, which means that they either have to find another job or find some other way to make ends meet. They just lost $90K a year of income. Meanwhile, they didn't do anything wrong. They didn't break any rule. They did their job diligently for many, many years. And these people are going to get thrown on the street. And I'm not trying to say thrown on the street necessarily for effect. I'm just saying, you throw somebody's career out for something as stupid as this, when there's supposedly all these shortages and overrun everything, it's a total ruse. And the hands of time will look back on this moment and just be like, what a bunch of sick, sad people that they let all that happen at that time. You could just literally go online in NPR today. Article: New York may use the National Guard to replace unjust healthcare workers. New York state officials are bracing for staffing shortages. They're creating the shortage. They're forcing the shortage. They're creating the human suffering. They hate us. They want you to suffer. Declaring a state emergency to allow healthcare professionals licensed outside of New York, as well as recent graduates and retirees, to practice there. So you're going to have a bunch of recent graduates, low on experience. You're going to have retirees who have been retired and are going to now come out of retirement. Last time I checked, when people retire, they're a little bit older, Jack. So a retired person that is statistically at higher risk is going to now come back into this because they're good people. I guarantee you the vast majority of those retirees that are coming back are not going to come back so that they could collect a couple of shekels, a couple simoleons before they ride their horse into the sunset. They're probably coming back because they don't want people to suffer, which is why they were a nurse in the first place. Yet you're going to bring all these people back in there, these people that are already at risk because they feel bad. So these psychos are going to create a shortage purposely to create suffering, to purposely put more people at risk, to purposely, by design, destroy anyone who refuses to comply from underneath their boot. They said that they're going to deploy medically trained National Guard members. Is anybody out there stupid enough to think that a medically trained National Guard member is going to be as proficient as a person that's been working in that same hospital for 10 years? Are you out of your mind? Someone's going to walk in and train. You know how much slower they're going to be? If you've ever watched the show Undercover Boss, let me give you an example. If you've ever watched the show Undercover Boss, the CEO of a company will go to work at Church's Chicken or a fast food restaurant, Checkers. A new employee that used to work on the floor, used to flip burgers, and they worked their way up the chain. A CEO, $10 million a year salary, will go into a fast food job where a $10 an hour guy that has barely a high school education, if that, maybe did a prison sentence for some stupid drug offense, that's now getting a restart in life, has 3 kids, is 19 years old, and they will struggle to figure out how to cook the fries and run the drive-through and flip the burgers in an expedient manner. They don't know where any of the tools are. They don't know how to do a job that could be done by a 19-year-old kid. A CEO that used to do that job struggles with it at first, and it takes a minute to get a hang of it. Except the burger that they're flipping is a human being's life. And they're going to bring in these people that aren't even there, that aren't even trained in that thing, that don't know the people of that area. You're going to have they said right here that they're going to expedite how quickly they can get visa requests for medical professionals. So they're going to bring in people from outside the country on visas to treat these people, when you could have a perfectly good nurse from New York right down the street, and you're not even going to say, oh, we're going to test her every day. We're going to check her temperature every hour. We're going to do any variety of things. We're going to check her to see if they've got the anti-blobs. You're not even going to do that. It's just, no, you're fired. Bring in somebody from overseas, dog. These people are disgusting. These people are sick in the head, and they hate us, and they want you to die. They want you to suffer, and they want you to endure unnecessary pain for nothing. And people are like, good job, Kath. Other institutions, including home care, hospice, and adult care facilities, their day of reckoning, oh, well, tickle my bag. It's only 10 days away, October 7th. My grandmother and grandfather were 95 years old. Worked their entire life. My grandfather served in the Army. He was drafted. Never ended up seeing combat, thank God. My grandfather and grandmother lived to 95 and 96 years old, respectively. They had home care. I couldn't tell you how many home care people were lazy, didn't do the job right, didn't show up on time, stole from them, stole from my grandparents, stole money from them. It is challenging to find a good home care person. You have to trust a person that you care for deeply with a person that you value the most, your parent, the person that took care of you when it mattered. And you took that time to find a person to get them to work with your parent that you care for so much, and the parent, a willing person, and the grandparent, whatever, are willing to have that person in their home care. And they're like, nope, you're fired. Who suffers as a result of that? Everyday people. If you can't afford to put them in a home, you're out of luck. And the homes are no better. They're going to have staff shortages as well. And you see how people mistreat people in those homes. You're taking these vulnerable people and you're just throwing them to the dogs for nothing to protect them. You're protecting them by hurting them, by causing them unnecessary harm. It's disgusting. These people are disgusting. Now, it says the most recent numbers say as of Wednesday, 84% of all hospital employees had the juice. So that means you're going to fire 16% of your staff, 81% at all adult care facilities. That's 19%, and 77% of nursing home facilities. So you're basically saying 1 in every 5, 1 in every 6 people fired. While there's shortages already, because people have been stuck in a fear state, paid to stay home, making more money than they were making before. Hold on for 1 second. So, despite all this, this is happening right now, today. And tomorrow, the suffering begins. In what world do people think it's like these people, they shed such crocodile tears of all the stuff that they pretend that they care about when they don't care about this? Just get the juice and comply, you piece of garbage. They don't follow the science. These people are disgusting. They're sick in the head. And I just find it tragic that all these nurses, the heroes of 6 months ago, are the unemployed today. And nobody cares. Unjuiced employees in New York City's 11 public hospitals will be put on unpaid leave. Sad. So they can do it to the Marines, the Army, the people that, oh, God bless the troops. Yeah, sure. Yeah. More like God bless the troops when it's convenient. The doctors, the nurses, the health professionals, the frontline workers, the first responders, the heroes, according to them, who they're now throwing out because they don't care. Police officers, fire departments. It's like, what else? Like, what else? You know what I mean? Who else is there? It's like, is there any other group of people that we all unanimously agree are some of the best among us than those people? It's like, oh, you mean the guys that save people from being murdered? You mean the guys that run into a burning building to save people's life when other people are running out? Oh, you mean the guys that are in the hospital at 3:00 in the morning sewing up a bullet hole wound in a patient? Oh, you mean the people that are holding somebody's hand as they die? Oh, you mean the people that are literally saving people's lives? Oh, you mean the people that are literally defending our interests at home and abroad around the world, but at the end of a gun barrel? Oh, you mean those people that come home with their leg blown off, their arm blown off, their eyes shot out, or no life at all in a body bag? Them? Yeah, you're gonna dishonorably discharge them. You're gonna make the police department, the underpaid police who everybody has been dogging, ragging on, and disrespecting for the last 24 months, that showed up to work every single day, all the way through the clam dam, through getting balloons full of piss thrown at them. Every single person acting like they're evil, threats on their life at work and at home. This once revered institution is now thrown into the trash. Yet when anybody has even the slightest bit of a threat on them, who's the first person they're about to call? The police. Who's the first person they're about to call? I bet if you were in a house and that house was on fire and you need somebody to come rescue you, you wouldn't be text messaging the guy at the front door, be like, "Did you get the juice before you come and save me, dog? I'm about to die of smoke inhalation, but I was just curious. Did you get the mandated juice?" Yo, my neighbor's about to stab me in the stomach with a knife. Oh, by the way, did you happen to get the juice? I was just curious. I just need you to clarify. Can you show me your passport before you apprehend this person that's about to murder me? People are so stupid and sad and disgusting that they are so dumb that people like LeBron James is going to go and come after a white police officer purely because he's white when he saved a person of color's life from being literally stabbed on video. Can't get more obvious than that. And they're like, let him play. Let him just stab. Let him go for a, just like when we were kids, stabbity stab, stab. Every year, there's over a dozen accidental situations where a police officer grabs for their gun and accidentally grabs a taser. But that one woman, I forget what the city it was, accidentally makes the same mistake that dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of other police officers, more than 10 a year, have made. She happens to make that mistake at just the right moment. No evidence of having any animus or bias to any person of any color ever in her entire life. Happens to make the wrong mistake at the wrong time in the wrong political climate. And they have 8-foot chain link fences around her house. And she goes to prison immediately. Straight to jail. Straight to jail. Thanks for your service, but you need to get sacrificed on the altar of wokeness right now. And all of the other police officers that made that exact same mistake, which she will carry with her for the rest of her life, whether they punish her here or not. Not only does she have to deal with that after years of service and no evidence of having any animus or bias towards anyone, and this lady will be and already has been sacrificed for nothing. And then you have spineless grifters like Benjamin Crumpets who go around and they memorialize and lift up on a pedestal all of these people that have objectively broken the law, risked their own life, and paid the price for it. And they lift and artificially lift these people up on a pedestal like they are the greatest among us. To so much of a degree that I can't even say their names here without this video being marked for, I've already, even with all of the delicate ballet that I do around these topics, I still get popped with the language. Can you imagine? Yet through all of this madness, it is so ridiculously obvious how horrible these people are and how horrible what they're doing to us is. Yet all people can think to do is be like, the flag is offensive. Good job, Joe. Thanks, Krusty. They'll get mad about a literal non-thing. We're not going to use horses anymore. When just a week prior, you had actual people, actual innocent civilians, 7 children. Terminated. Nobody cared. 13 Marines sacrificed for nothing. We're going to get those horses. And then you have those guys. Can you imagine? Could you imagine the things that those guys on those horses see in a daily basis? Could you imagine what those guys witness over there? Can you imagine it? Going to work, doing your job, literally doing your literal job, to then see your face broadcast around the entire planet, that you are worse, your behavior is worse than that of one who owned other human beings in the past. It was worse. To have these do-nothing, spineless politicians call a press conference from states away that never met you, that never saw you, that never saw what happened, that don't know anything about you, and say that what you've done is disgusting, deplorable, reprehensible, shameful. They will pay. Trust me. To then have the corpse, the ghost of the theoretical leader of the free world say that you doing your job was shameful and that you will pay, when all you did was your job. Can you imagine being that guy that was on that horse in that picture? Because in case you forgot, people know people. That guy has friends and family members and associates and people that see him in town. And could you imagine going to the coffee shop to buy a cup of coffee and have somebody be like, F you, bro, and be like, bro, you don't get it, except multiply that around the entire planet. Can you imagine? It's like, this is the sickest thing I have ever seen. To have the ghost of Joey Basement act like you are disgusting and you are going to have to pay, when he literally, there is remarkable mountains of evidence that this person has done a quid pro quo in the Ukraine, has a literal garbage person of a family member. His brother is as filthy as the day is long. His son is as filthy of a scoundrel as the day is long, breaking literal federal crimes, blowing paint through a straw for millions of dollars, being caught up in scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal, doing absolutely nothing for 40 plus years, and people applaud these people. You're sick in the head. Clueless. To after all that, you're that guy on that horse, and you got to listen to Joey Basement tell the entire planet how disgusting you are? Are you kidding me? How sickening that must feel for that guy that just did his job. It's like the degree of savagery is insane. To think that there is just widespread, needless, global suffering at scale happening right now. And people are like, I got to get this paycheck, though. It's like, okay. So, with that being said, I guess I just don't know how much more they can take from us before people do anything. Because it certainly seems to me like there is no limit to it. And the more that we go, the more that we wait, the more that we remain silent, the more that we don't vote with our money, vote with our time and our attention, and vote with our conversations, the more this will continue and the worse it will get. And I just don't understand how this is happening. It's disturbing, greatly disturbing to me, and I just don't understand. Even on my, I want to see if I could pull up this comment. This person had left a comment on my video before, and I was like, wow, okay. I don't know. I can't even find it. But these are troubling times, and it's like the severity of what's going on is just so remarkable that I just don't know how much more they're going to be able to take without people doing something or caring. And that was all. I just feel like it seems like it blows my mind that these nurses are not being respected, that these military vets are not being respected, that we can give billions of dollars. I saw this thing the other day, I think it was yesterday, where it talked about how each of the migrants or whatever is costing the United States something like $2,000 some odd dollars or whatever it is a month. Yet you pay into Social Security your entire life and make less than that. You got veterans on the street suffering. You got veterans begging for service from the VA. You got all these horrible things happening as we siphon off cash and blast it all around the world and squander it. And people are so smooth brained and so low IQ that they're like, tax the rich, get them to pay their fair share. You're dumb. You're dumb. Sorry. I used to hate that. I remember when I first started making videos, I was like, I hate when people say that like other people are dumb because they don't see it from their perspective. But it's like, I'm just like charged up by it right now. And I'm like, yo, you're dumb. Because it's so obvious and they're not taking the time to look into it. It's disgusting. Yet it's like, all right, I know what's everybody going to do tomorrow. Go to Starbucks, go to work. It's not me. Who cares? I didn't even see that car commercial. I don't need a car. It doesn't matter to me. Meanwhile, 16%, 17, 18, 19% of the medical professionals in the state of New York in the next 15 days will not have a job for nothing. All I got to say is if you're a health professional and you live in the state of New York, there's a nice big state that everybody loves to dog, that everybody likes to talk about, that everybody likes to make fun of. And I could tell you what, from firsthand experience, the great state of Florida is just about the best place in the United States of America. So if you like crystal clear blue water, if you like nice tropical weather, if you like warm weather all year round, if you like people that like freedom that won't judge you based on your political affiliations, I would highly recommend that you take a nice trip to the Sunshine State, my friends, because I could tell you this much. Ron DeSantis, good, bad, or indifferent, however you feel about the dude, this is a guy that's actually standing up to protect the people. You live in New York. I love people from New York. I would suggest that you come to Florida because we would love some highly intelligent nurses, doctors, firemen, police officers. Come to Florida People are always like, no, don't tell people to come to Florida. I've met people from New York, some of the best people I've ever met. No BS, straight to the point, moving at a clip faster than anybody I've ever seen, sharp. You have to be high level sharpness to live in the state of New York. To be a New Yorker, you have to be able to operate at a rate faster than most people need to operate. I remember the first thing I realized when I came to Florida is I was like, people down here do not have urgency. You go to somebody in New York, you start walking, they're like, bro, why are you walking, bro? They're on your back. The rate by how quickly people execute in New York is remarkable. These are some of the sharpest, fastest paced, no BS, direct people I've ever met. And the people in New York are great people. And I would highly suggest that they come to Florida. Somebody said, why do they vote so bad? People in inner cities vote bad. Look, just because I'm not even going to answer that question. A lot of people make horrible voting mistakes. Most people are blind. There's a lot of great people in California. They don't vote very well either in certain places. But I don't believe in blanket statements about people on the negative side. Look, and I'm not, and people like bringing up other places. Yeah, there's a lot of other great places. Most people are great. I'm not even trying to say it's like, oh, Florida, people from New York are great and others are not. It's like, so that's all. Thank you so much to everybody that's stuck around for this rant. I really appreciate it. Definitely some of the most people I've had on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously, so that's always good to see. So big ups to the people on Facebook and YouTube. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much to Lauren and Margaret for the Venmo donations. I saw those come in. I appreciate that. Thank you to Randy and Ann. I saw some orders on Bobby Sauce come in while I've been on here. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody that's joined the Patreon lately at patreon.com/takenaps. I appreciate you so much. I'm doing I just announced the date for the private Patreon only Q&A, which is going to be next Tuesday night. So if you want to be a part of that, if you want to join the Patreon only private Q&A session, there'll be about 30 people there. Join at patreon.com/takenaps. Thank you guys for doing that and joining there. Thank you to everybody that's been supporting on Instagram on the badges. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you, Samantha Mariah, KK's mommy, Keep Calm Collect, Dickie Murphy 1, Amber Marie Graham, Janice Schultz Beauty, the Megan Hayward with 3 badges. Thank you so much. Chooks Official with 2 badges. Thank you so much. Jesse CT6 with 2 badges. Dawn Maureen, Michelle AD with 4 badges. Thank you. Keto Vampire and Heather McCrimmon on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. I appreciate that you value what I'm doing here so much that you are willing to part with your hard-earned money. I really appreciate it so much, and every penny of it means the world to me. So thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate it. But most importantly of all, thanks to everybody that's here, that's watching, that will watch this later. I hope that this puts some ripple of goodness out there. I hope that more people start to act on this. I hope that we can realize the error in our ways, and I hope that we can help wake up more people to the reality of what's going on, because this is not good. Biggie's doing well. He was not doing well yesterday, but he actually was pretty strong today, hopping around. So I think there's a little bit of fight left in him, and we'll see how it goes with him. Thank you for asking about Biggie Smalls. I will share that with him. I do appreciate that. So anyways, thanks again, guys. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for the badges. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks to everybody on Venmo. Thanks to everybody on patreon.com/takenaps. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate you. Please consider sharing this live stream and sharing some of the videos. Tell people about the channel, tag your friends, be like, you got to check this out, and speak up. Start more conversations. It's really and truly the only solution to this. Thank you to the people that donated on YouTube. I can't see the names anymore, but I saw them before, Thomas and whoever else. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I can't see who contributed on YouTube. And also, I want to thank I want to thank Diana. I don't know if Diana is on the stream right now, but Diana sent a really generous donation today to my mailbox. So thank you so much for that. Thanks to Bottle Bro for sending me those gifts, and thank you for the other gift. If you saw my story earlier, I got some cool stuff in the mail today. If you want to send me something, go to bobbysauce.com/ and go to the contact page under About, and my address is there. It's also in my link tree on Instagram. If you want to send me something, I'll open it up on the story there. And again, thank you all so much. I really appreciate you. Oh, there's Diana. She's in the Facebook. Thanks, Diana. Diana, I sent you an email earlier on Facebook. Please go check your email. I sent you an email with a question, Diana, earlier. If you can, go check it out. I need a response from you on that. Thank you so much again. I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you guys on Facebook, YouTube. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Much love. Go America.